with the exception of Salamatu. I'm going to bring in former Deputy Minister Eugene Lamin Fagon. Minister Fagon, real quick, because I have to bring in the councillor. He's seated, he's ready. Tawan is our guest. Councillor Gongloe is our guest. Real quick, your 30 seconds before I bring him on.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Iremi Gray, and good evening, Yekezi. Zwogbe, is that it? That's it. I think Tawan is an astute gentleman. He's a statesman of good quality. He's a legal scholar and luminary. He's an erudite professor, so to speak. And he's referred to by many as the poor man lawyer. And I am a witness to that part of his life. We had a situation with a gentleman from Cllr by the name of Joma. And I think he saw the role I played because both of us were in the room with that so-called supervisor. And we're happy that the gentleman has gone back to work, but they were not able to pay him all his money. They still have not settled with him. So we know for a fact that, you know, with people like Tawan around, such things will not happen. And I think I look forward to having a great exchange with him. Hopefully he's going to help the Liberian people understand that nothing is more important than getting rid of this individual that have posed a serious national, socio-economic, and political risk to our country. So I look forward to a healthy exchange.
But is the birds are chirping? Are they from your end? You got, and then I'm hearing. By the way,
yeah, they are my friends. They are right.
Yeah, the birds are your friends, right?
Yeah,
I'm hearing them in the.
I'll close my window just shortly. I just wanted some fresh air.
Oh, you can invite them on the show. We'll take them.
But they're already there, and you're complaining about them.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll open the phone line today. It's the must that you must speak to Councillor Tawan Gongloe. You must speak to the poor man lawyer. It will be good for you to ask him your question, why he chose to run by himself and for his party, why he couldn't join Joseph Yiman Boyka or Alexander Cummings. What was the problem? Why Councillor Gongloe within himself believe that he cannot join anybody else? Those people refuse to join him. Listen, this is an open conversation. Get yourself ready. We're going to make you ask your question to the poor man lawyer. All right? Let's bring in Councillor Tawan Gongloe. As our guest tonight, we're going to bring him on the show. Councillor Gongloe, how you doing? How you doing? God bless you. Good to see you as always. Thank you for joining Spoon Talk tonight.
Well, thank you for pronouncing my name. I think you got an A this evening. You got Tawan Gongloe correctly. Thank you.
Thank you.
And it's good to see Remy Gray, the former Army scholar and now retired Army scholar, the Free Thinkers. I still remember him. He belonged to a group called the Free Thinkers. He said he was not aligned with any political group, but he wanted to think freely, to be able to criticize and to support different individuals in Liberia. And they had a whole group called the Free Thinkers Group. I still remember. And the last time I saw him was in Robertsport when he was working with, I think, executive something, or working with the government of Liberia during Ellen time, part of the UNDP program, if I'm not wrong. And then Eugene Fagon reminds me of being my 12th Street boy way back in the 80s. He reminded me I was a teaching assistant at the University of Liberia in 1982, and he was living on 12th Street. He said, "What the little boys there?" I said, "Well, you know, the young people always remember the older ones." We have good relationship when he was at Information Ministry. Yes, we work on Dr. Joma's case. Incidentally, when I was traveling to the States, Joma and myself met at the airport. He was now going back to Ibadan. They were going to honor him. They were going to officially award his PhD degree, and he was going there with his wife. So right now he's in Nigeria. Thank you for the effort. At least, you know, it is said that truth crushed to the ground will rise again. So in the end, his fight was successful. He spent days out there on hunger strike. Even people, his relatives were saying, you know, why don't you stop it? Well, he will be remembered for standing up against injustice, because in the end, he succeeded. And he should stand as a role model for a lot of Liberians, not to give up so easily, you know. There's no gain without pain. Yeah. But thank you for hosting me this evening. I first want to thank all Liberians in America who have been calling back home and telling their people to support me. I felt it when I went to over 300 towns in 13 counties, in Bojese town, in Riverside, was saying, oh, that the other council of Gongloe here, our people in America say must support him. That's in Riverside. In Boajigan, I was told the same thing. In Bogeza, in Boajigan, in Grand Cru, in Bogeza, in Lofa County, I was told the same thing. In Wangeko, in Wangeko, in Cape Mama, everybody was sweeping. They said, hey, that is man here. And they say that the government official that come to the town were not going to come here because these government officials sat down there and B Mountain has contaminated our soil, contaminated our water, and EPSA, B Mountain didn't do anything but we will not drink the water and use it the same way we used to use it. Say that the government. So everywhere I've gone, people have told me, the people in America heard your message and they have called us in our village to vote for you. Whether it's in Herrington, in Buffalo County, or in Bodota, in Bon County, I heard the same story everywhere. So it's like, you know, now I've gone to over 300 towns. I know that the people there are also calling their children in America and say, this is the man who will support. I'm happy about the work I've done so far. The reception is great. People are telling me in the other villages I went to, thank you, that our first time seeing presidential aspirant. We never know how presidential aspirant look. They can only, when they come to Nimba, they can only go to Ganta, Sanigole, Kample, Bang, Seklepi, and Tapata. One, I think that Akul chairman called me the other day, Lieutenant Kamara, and said, Councilor Gongloe, where are you? He told you I achieved so much. I said, why you say where I am? He said, I'm in Nimba, where are you? I said, where in Nimba did you go? He said, everywhere. I said, where did you go? He named the same towns I named. I said, did you go to Buto? He said, no. I said, you want to Bilage? He said, no. You want to Gable? He said, no. I said, you want to Zigapa? He said, no. I said, you want to Berale, the cry area? He said, no. I said, but when you talking about you've been everywhere? Because those are the cities. I strongly believe that if you want to be president of Liberia, you must go to the interior where life is so challenging. See the conditions under which people are living, because you cannot solve a problem that you don't know. And that is why, as an advocate for good governance and the elevation of the life of the people, I decided to go everywhere, including one interesting thing I always talk about, George, when I go on the radio, President Weah. There's a town in Riverside County called Pakwai Town. It's about 35 minutes upstream the Cllr River, and that's where the Cllr River entered the sea. So it's so violent, and you go upstream. So if you actually go on an ordinary road, you know, you go like 4 hours. But I went on a rented motorized Fanti Kino, and it took me 35 minutes to go upstream. When I entered that town, the elders, old men there said, why you came to our town? Even the superintendents don't come here. The lawmakers don't come here. No politician ever come here our town. There's no road to this town. The only way to come here is to come by Kino. And my answer was swift. I said, oh man, I want to be president for all Liberians. The one living in Cllr City, the one living in Buchanan, the one living in Monrovia, and the one living across the river upstream. So that's why I came to see the conditions under which people are living. Then he said to me, do you know this is the home of the current president, late mother Annie? Annie came from Pakwai Town here. But the president, when he was running campaign, he didn't come here. And since he's been president, he had not come here. So when I came back, I got on the radio, I said, President George, I got one thing over you. I went to your mother's town. I'm calling upon you at least to make them feel that they brought forth a child who born president. So go that the conditions in Pakwai Town are very, very bad. They have a little school they built themselves with stick, makeshift school. I would be very happy if George Weah were to listen to me as president, go to Pakweta. He's able to get a good motorized boat, a very good boat to go upstream. Let him go there, even spend a night there. Let the people feel him, you know. But he hasn't done that. I've been all over, and the people are very, very happy. My message is clear. I tell them, look, I want to be a president that will make sure that the roads are maintained. The roads in the interior, Remy, man, especially southeastern Liberia, very bad. There's no way you can go now from Monrovia to Kipamos without spending 2 weeks on a highway. And 1979, as a student leader at the University of Liberia, I went to Maryland. I left Maryland 6 o'clock in the morning. By 9 o'clock in 1979, I was in Monrovia. It used to be that way. The roads were not paved, but they were well maintained. You know, there were public areas along the road. Ganta, Betu, Tapata, Tota, Kanweke, Plibo, like that. And the roads were maintained. People used to go 70 miles an hour on the road. The only thing during dry season, the dust used to be too much, but the roads were good. We never heard that even rainy season, the roads cut off our interpreter. So the roads are not maintained. Look, the worst experience I had on the bad roads all over Liberia was in southeastern Liberia. First in Tiamat Town, Putu Tiamat Town. When I was speaking to the people, I said, but why are the roads so bad? Because to leave from Zwetru to reach Putu Tiamat Town, oh, so many muddy areas are passed. You know, I talking to people, I said, but the president from Southeast, one little boy told me, Council, I'm not disrespecting you, shut up. The whole government is from Southeast. And that little boy named over 10 top government officials. He said, the minister from here, the central bank governor from here, he named all those people. He said, so what are you talking about? The project neglected us. We want to see themselves. Then I left from there. I went to Kilipo Kanweken. Kilipo Kanweken is where the late Minister of Justice, Frederick Cllr, was born. And that's where Councillor Nimba, one of the celebrated lawyers, Dean of Law School, was also born. So I finished talking to a point in Kilipo Kanweken, and I know normally, because I've been on that road, it's 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes from Kilipo Kanweken to Gwepo Kanweken. I left. I sent a motorcyclist ahead and said, tell the people I'll be there 6 o'clock. Man, Stanton, as soon as I left, I saw a little mud there. And I said, oh, I took shovel. If you see me, I will clean it. I thought I would joke. We left from there. The next mud we saw was long with over 20 trucks and tankers packed. So we couldn't pass by them. I rolled up my sleeve, took off my shoes, crossed the mud, and went to wait for my car. You got there were 4-wheel jeeps. The drivers were good. I thought they would find a way out. No way. Until 12:30 at night, somebody came and woke me. I didn't even know that I passed out on the highway. Snake could have bitten me. I didn't know. They woke me up at 12:30. Our cars are finally crossed. When we got to Gwepo Kanweken, the people are all going to bed 1 a.m. in the morning. We had to go to a place called Dwaka to sleep. So if you have a road like that, and I was lying down before I slept, I said, so by road, if you have a road like this, it causes insecurity. What if Africans attack us now? It's not even happening now, but our soldiers coming, they will be defeated right at this mud because you cannot, move. You know about that, Remy. And then if you have a very good hospital in Gwepo Kanweken, people are coming from Kilipo Kanweken, the ambulance will bring them, they will die right at that mud. On the other hand, if you are in Webo or Plibo or in Maryland or Boajiken or Belwan in Grand Cru, and you are bringing your goods to the market, let's say you have a planting farm to take care of your family, to get out of poverty, you harvest your planting, you ask one businessman or you go to the Susu Club and say, y'all give me money to borrow, to pay for truck to carry my planting to Gorbachev. I'll pay your money next week. When you reach that mud between Kilipo Kanweken and Gwepo Kanweken, you will stay there for 10 days and your planting will get rotting. When it happens, then you have become poorer. So I stayed there, I said, but this government is multiplying poverty. Because even how hard people work on their farm, they could
Councillor, how can you multiply poverty?
Because Because you see,
Nullification of poverty.
but listen now, you carry your goose over there, you finish working hard whole year, you get your finish harvesting your planting or banana, you reach there, the banana get rotten. The money you borrow to pay for that truck, when you go back, you can't pay. Your savings you have, you give all to the Suzu Club.
But so let's start the program now. Let's start the program, Councilor. Let me ask you some question on that.
You might even sell all your other things, then you become poorer. And this
so let me ask.
Multiplication of poverty.
So let me ask you a question. They call the president bio medicine. Okay, we understand what. Okay, bio medicine. The city men have done extremely well with roads. All the Jade roads, and we say Jade, all the road beyond is same houses, then the man took care of it. Okay, you get your terms. That's fine. I want the Liberian people to listen to us. All the Tantan roads, all the one leading to the swamp, all the one leading to the beaches. Everywhere they say the men are bio medicine. When the road see the man, the road tremble. And you're saying the man multiplying poverty because the road is so bad. What are you bringing forth to be different from George Man and we are now? Will you be called a bio medicine too?
Let me say this, because he didn't grow up in the interior like me, he probably didn't know how the people did it in the past. Topman, when he took over, he went by road, the towing hammer from Carisburg all the way to Kipamas. And he made promise in 1944 that, listen, the next time I come to Kipamas, I'll come by car in a motor vehicle. When he went back between 1944 and 1952, he built a road up to Kipamas with the help of the U.S. Army. Now, he put Pablo yards along the road, one in Ganta, one in Puerto, another one in Tapeta, one in Tota, one in Kanweken, then the other one in Plibo. During dry season, when I would grow up in Tapeta, we used to see the ones coming from Puerto and the one Tapeta, they rehabilitate the road because the rain would destroy the road. They will rehabilitate the road and lay the gutters to prepare for the next rainy season. They will do the same thing on the Zwedru Road. I never heard one day that Zwedru Road was cut off. So they did that. That idea will carry on by Tobo up to due time. This government has not restored that idea. Honor Ellen Ome was there. So when Ellen left, and they said they were coming to change for hope, these were the conditions that they met. And they could have gone back to the old idea. So when you have good ideas, you bring it back. The old good idea of putting public work yards on the road would be restored by me. I will have public work yards either in all of the counties or in four major hubs filled with yellow machines to maintain the roads. It's going to take 50 years for Liberian government to pave all roads. Paving roads is expensive. Every 1 mile of pavement is $1 million United States dollars. We may not have that money, but let's maintain the roads so that people and goods can move freely. You know, going to the market, people going to the hospital, moving up and down. When I was in Tapeta, people used to leave from Tapeta in the morning, go to Monterey and come back by 5 o'clock in the evening. We need freedom of movement, and the government of Liberia the current government is violating Liberian people's fundamental right to freedom of movement. It is a constitutional right. It is an international recognized right under the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So the government is in clear violation. They have no excuse. And a shameful thing that our officials of government themselves, they are, after neglecting the rural people, the Speaker of the House of Representatives last week going to register because the time was running out, and he felt that he had gone the road, it would have taken 2 weeks, and then he would have lost his chance to register as representative, and he would have lost his seat because you're not registered to vote in the district. How will you be campaigning to retain your seat? So he passed through Ivory Coast. It was really, really disgraceful, shameful. He passed through Ivory Coast to enter Maryland to go to Plibo. Then when he entered Ivory Coast, he went to Plibo, he put plenty of money on the table, so 1,000 Liberian dollar bill. That's another way of multiplying poverty. You say, hey, comes the Gongloe, I'm an economist. Let me say this. You are putting so much Liberian dollar on the market, millions of dollars, chasing few US dollars. The exchange rate will go up. The importers trying to buy US dollars to import their goods. When they import their goods, they will shift the burden to us consumers. and that will make the poor people poorer again. So borrow, flooding the market with Liberian dollars. We are not exporting so much to generate so much US dollars. You bring in too much hardship on the people and expect that as we go to election and there's a double hardship coming to people, you'll be re-elected. I say they must be living somewhere now on planet Earth or on Jupiter also, because the harsh conditions.
Thank you. So thank you very much. We got a big show today and a lot of information coming in from all over, from your county, by the way, where the CPP having the convention. But let me stick with you for a minute, though. The biomedicine, you say through that thing, the man multiplying poverty. I want to bring in Fagon, then we can go to Aram and Gray. The multiplication of poverty.
But
we want to stick.
Before you go to that, I just want to say something about the biomedicine. So it affects the Doe community where you grew up. On the Robertsfield Highway, they have off the main roads going to Big Shot's houses. One going to his house in the form of VP. Then the other one going to the President Pro Tem house. The other one is going to the Public Works Minister house. The other one is going to former Minister McGill house. And I think there's another one going to Senator Jim Banning's house. Besides that, no other roads. Even Tipota, his uncle lives on that road because Tipota usually call your nephew. Tipota House Road, not paved. The only payment is to the VIPs in government. So it's borrowed medicine for certain group of people. The place you grew up in Cllr and the Big Shots on Robertsfield Highway. That's it. Not for the rest of Liberia.
Honorable Fagon, please. Your question for Councillor Gongloe. Can you unmute, please?
Well, thank you very much. Let me go to because right now, you know, Honorable Gongloe is running for president. He's a political leader. He's a candidate. But I want to ask my question from the position of an eyewitness account. You've been to the courtroom on several occasions, battled in several cases. What would you say as an eyewitness? What's the feeling, the general feeling of the people from the Southeast towards the government, the current government? What would you say the general feeling is, having gone there and seen with your own eye, not spoon or newspaper report? What would you say is the general feeling towards the current government?
Because they expected so much, given the poor conditions that were there. They expected that this son of Southeast was going to, you know, at least make them to be close to where Nimba is in terms of general development. They are so disappointed. They are so disappointed. And they are not shy about it. From Total Grand Jury all the way to Sasstown, the president whom I was endorsed. I was not even endorsed in Nimba and Bonkande, my mom from Bonkande, my part from Nimba. The ordinary people were talking to me, but government officials were not open to me. From Total all the way to Sasstown, government officials, city mayors, township commissioners, what do you call it, town chiefs, empowerment chiefs were endorsing me. This is your message about road condition, your message about free medication for pregnant women, for children under 5, and for people 5 years and 55 years old. Your message that you mechanize rice production and so that Liberia can be a rice exporter and not a rice importer. Your message of, you know, the road condition that used to be part of where your message is good. Your message that our children will go to school from kindergarten to 12th grade free. That is the message you want. We have never heard this kind of message before from anybody. And this our son from Southeast is not even helping us. Look at our road condition. We're suffering like this in the Southeast. Last year, November, to leave from Zwaju to Ganta by motorcycle was $35,000 to $40,000 per person. Now, The place is poor, no companies. How are they going to make it except gold mining and motorcycle riding and all of that? So the prices of everything that you see in Monrovia is double up interior. So they are really, really angry because the worst case you can find in Liberia in terms of human suffering is in Southeastern Liberia. So when I got to Bewan before, for example, in Grand Cru, they said the mayor said you were sleeping. I said, no, in this thing, I don't want people to lose their jobs. Oh, said the mayor, I want to sleep somewhere. He said, you working at government? You were sleeping in my house. See, people are not afraid. In the Minister of State, Wisa Blamo, in his home, I think it's called a Tajitron or something. In his home, the people endorsed me there. When I left the meeting, I called him, I said, Minister Wisa Blamo, your people were very nice to me. They endorsed me. They said they would support my presidential bid. Then he said, oh, you want to Montana? You didn't tell me. I said, I'm a free librarian. I have a right to go anywhere. I don't need to tell you that I'm coming to your town. But that's the sentiment everywhere. And the best case was in Southtown. I arrived in Southtown in the night around 7:38. The city mayor of Southtown came to me and said, "Can the Gongloe sit down? I've heard a lot about you. Let me go fix the place." It is the city mayor that fixed the place. Not only that, the place he fixed, he found that there was a loudspeaker, a sound system. Then he came and gave me cola nut. With pepper and salt. I ate the cola nut, they brought me water, I drank, and he said, our tradition is when you finish eating the cola nut and drinking the water or cane juice, then you give us your message. I finished, you were clapping. All the message I was giving, they were just clapping. When I got through, then he gave it party, he now gave the vote of thanks, and then I told the people I was leaving, I left. Interestingly, when I got to RTI in River says, I heard on ERBC the next day, Councilor Gongloe went to River to Southtown and they boo him. I said, but the thing was live, you know how to laugh. As I was speaking, it was live. Everybody saw it. So it wasn't a place where but the people are so disappointed. They are so disappointed. And the bishop.
So, Councilor Gongloe, because we got a lot of questions, I know you got a lot to explain. Fago, you won't go with your second?
Yeah, my second will be everyone is fighting for a running mate. The question comes in twofold. You my own brother. Maybe you will choose me, I don't know.
Just possible.
Have you made up your mind? And if so, how soon can we expect to hear from you on your running mate? Considering the fact that no two persons can come from the same county.
Yeah, true. And you're not from my county, so you are.
I could be in contention.
You know, and I know you better because you're my little brother from 12th Street. But no, I have a committee, a vetting committee, and pretty soon they will reach a conclusion. I'm in contact with them even while I'm in the United States here. But you can rest assured that the Liberian people will be excited when I need my running mate, because that person will not be far away from me in terms of qualification, experience, commitment, and love of country.
So I'll take it. How many persons do you have on the vetting list right now?
You mean how many persons I have as potential? Well, I don't want to disclose that because you see, if I come to Eugene Fagon and say, you know, I'm talking to Witherspoon, if he doesn't agree, then I will come to you.
I say my name now. I say
no,
how many persons?
I'm just saying, I don't want to say that. Because even the people we're talking to now, you say, I got 5 persons, and the president say, oh, so they got other people line up. I gotta be careful to make sure that I get the people I'm getting. So I'm not going to say that. Yeah.
But how soon can you
why are you going to look for a girlfriend? You say, I got 5 candidates, but I'm coming to you. You know, if you don't.
So
I tell you, pass that thing already.
How soon? How soon?
Oh, I will act within the scope of the law before the time allotted. So let the euphoria of the other people, you know, they're doing that. But I can tell you that we are taking our time.
Okay. All right.
Thank you very much, Councilor Gongloe. Reverend Gray, your 2 questions, sir.
You know, Council, the issue of fundraising, one of the bedrocks of campaign, and we all know definitely that all of these trips you're making, when you get there, you have to honor the tradition. You're not just going to sit down there, of course. You know what I mean. So tell us a little bit about your fundraising initiative so far for your campaign.
I'm a risk taker, and sometimes it looks, people who don't know can think I'm insane. I got it from, I don't have money in my pocket, but I don't consider myself a poor man because I've invested a lot I made social investment, representing people, giving people help. Like in Jakaken, one woman got to say, you know me? I said, to tell you the truth, I don't remember you. It's about 3 years ago, Mother Sarah do a mission in Ghana's when she died. Her ex-husband wanted to take the whole mission with all the houses, the only over 20 houses in Monrovia. We came to you, and you took the case, and you helped us, and we got my sister properties back. Then he turned to the point in Jakaken, he said, the mayor that man will vote for. So, I rely on that, and I go and I think that the Bible is right. Good name is better than silver and gold. I leave Monrovia now with $1,000, and I have cars to repair the gasoline. And when you go, man, I've spent so much money on repairs and gasoline. But I called to America and called some of my friends. I don't want to name them now. And I say, my man, I'm in surgery. I don't know how I will continue the trip. They say, you got anybody with you with mobile money? I say, my driver has the other person on the trip. When I look, $2,000 will come. And that's why I enjoy, I say, I think it's good to have, money in social investment than even a bank or in your pocket. For example, in Facebook, we reached there, the car was giving trouble. The people watching it from America, somebody called me. He said, my man, it looks like you need to continue the trip with motorcycles. So my roommate from the UL dormitory, Simon Green level, he said, my man, I'm sending, how much for a motorbike? I said, a good one at $950 here. He said, I'm sending $2,000 right now. We bought 2 motorcycles right there. And the motorcycles remain in Zozo and in Vonjama when we're leaving. So I'm not carrying money like that. But when I call Remy Gray, and say, my man, it's 12 years, they send 500. When I look, I got a $5,000 on the trip. And I do complete the trip. I just decided I'll make the trip. And it has reinforced my belief in people more than even money. Yeah. And that's how I'm making the trip, actually.
My next question has to do with your own long connection to a legal corridor. As someone who headed the Bar Association, when you look around, there's a proliferation of disadvantaged youth. Don't even know where the next meal coming from, but then sometimes there's a prevalence of drugs everywhere. I mean, narcotic. But then when you go to the prison sites, there are individuals who are there who have not even been arraigned to see a judge to know exactly their charges. And so they are there, they just languish, and some people spend a year or 2 in jail without even seeing a judge for the first time for them to know exactly what they've done wrong. And you were there as head of the Bar Association. How are you going to address some of these kinds of issues where people are, because you talk about human right, and it's against the individual's right to keep them behind bars, without even giving.
So Remy, I understand your question. Let me start answering.
Mm-hmm.
As Solicitor General, when I was at Justice Ministry, that pre-trial, the high population of pre-trial detainees has always been a problem since the war. Because the war changed people, human behavior. People got angry faster than before. People became more intolerant. People became impatient. I always say that law was made for an orderly society based on the presumption that majority of the people in society are law-abiding, and that once in a while, when somebody breaks the law, the police will come in and cover act. But when breaking the law becomes a norm it challenges the system so much. So one of the things we learned from, I think, with Malawi or so, where they had a magistrate sitting program. So the justice ministry and the judiciary got together and said, you know what, every day there should be one magistrate sitting at the central prison just to look at the pre-trial detainees, how long they have been there, and to see how they can free. And they are doing that. But for every 2 prisoners that get free, 5 more enter jail, with minor offenses here and there. So, and we did that. And then the Bar Association, I met a program as president of the bar that was sponsored by the USAID. But while I was president of the bar, USAID said, look, we can't continue the program. We are ending our program with you. We have legal aid program in 5 counties. Keep in mind one of them, bombing. Yeah, we have keep my bombing, Grand Bassa, Bon County, and things like that. So the 5 counties. Our problem was, how do we abandon the program? I said no. One of the things I did, I remember as president of the bar, was to make the bar self-reliant in funding its activities. And how did I do it? 2 things I achieved in the process: to get the quack lawyers out of the profession, because people just used to work coastal and go to Temple of Justice and say, what can I case you here for? They didn't get in the law office, and sometimes they call some lawyer name. It was spoiling the profession. So I said, and then we had a situation with Noah Buduke, a non-Liberian who went through our law school, went through the system, and became counsel, a lawyer on. So I set up a committee. We then decided that, look, we'll have to issue licenses ourselves to the lawyers, to become. So it is the statutory responsibility of LRA to issue professional licenses to doctors, lawyers, and all that. So we enter into MOU with the Commissioner General, the current Commissioner General. You understood what we were saying, that we will pay the fee to them for revenue purposes, but the bar will issue the license to the lawyers so that we know that the people who are actually practicing are lawyers, because people just used to go to LRA and pay the $100 professional fee, and they show the license to magistrate court and say, I'm a lawyer. You see, government give me a license. So now it doesn't happen. We set up a committee headed by Councilor Siri Jones, an erudite lawyer, and they came up with a form. That form show what part of Liberia you're from, your name, what part of Liberia you're from. Are you a natural born Liberian? If no, are you naturalized? You naturalized, a copy of a naturalization certificate, what law school you graduated from, when you got admitted. Have you paid? Then a good thing for us, have you paid all your bar dues? If you said no, I owe 5 years, but I paid 3 years, you don't get license. If you don't get license, you file any paper in court, it's thrown out of court. And we started following the code. The judiciary cooperated with us. Some people owe 10 years bar due, pay 10 years. They will come to me, Cllr, I mean, you my classmate, and I pay 9 years, 1 more year in me. I say, you got to pay. And we're rigorous in that. Because of that, we collected more than $300,000, in fact, more than $400,000. And I was able to honor my administration to keep the program for legal aid program that USAID was supporting. In the absence of USAID, till today, we are still supporting that program because we did so well that the bar said they should elect my vice president for continuity. So in reality, it's like I'm still president of the bar because they elected my vice president to carry on. And we're able to build the first floor of the 3-story building of the bar headquarters that we are building on Roberts Field Highway. So we don't go begging anybody again for our law day program.
Thank you, Councilor.
Everything. And so we keep improving the situation. As president of the bar, I work with the tribe. When I resigned from government, I took a consultancy from Justice Ministry as a consultant for the pre-trial detention task force. So as president, that will be one of the areas that I will focus on. But you mentioned the drug issue. The drug in Liberia is creating so many criminals. It has improved. I mean, so it has increased the criminal behavior of a lot of young people, and it's all over Liberia, not just in Monrovia. I went everywhere. The point you call Zoko can be found in almost every village in Liberia. So we have to be strong on law enforcement. We have to improve the economy, but also we have to stop the people. We have to be strong on those who are bringing drugs in the country. It is connected to people at top level of government. Why do I say so? Because
Councilor, we have to run. I know this is a
let
big
me
issue.
conclude this. 3
Yeah.
years ago, a presidential escort car was caught with drug in it in Bowanasa. I think Eugene Falcon was staying in Liberia. It was so embarrassing. That case didn't go anywhere. So unless we got to get to the people who are bringing the drugs in the country, the supply side as well as we're dealing with the criminal conduct and rehabilitation.
Thank you very much, and thank you for joining us, Hussein, for running. But want to say thanks. We still going to be looking forward to have Sadama to joining the show shortly. Let me ask my question, then we're going to go back to Hussein, though. Politics in Liberia right now, consider Gongloe, right now. You can tell us who and when you're going to announce. Well, that's fine. Let's talk about April 28th, 2023 announcement from Unity Party. One of your kinsmen, he accepted to go along the ticket with Jose Yemabwaka, Jeremiah Kuhn, Senator of Nimba County, your senator. We'll give you time to speak. The Jose Yemabwaka and Senator Jeremiah Kuhn ticket. What's your take?
I really don't have time to speak about other people's ticket. And I didn't feel, and I'm a member of Unity Party, whether that good ticket or bad ticket is left with them to decide. But what I can say is that in Nimba County, there's no conflict because the Nimba people have decided that they want presidency this time and not vice presidency. They had Gongloe and they also have Moses Black. 2 vice presidents came from Nimba. And if you go to Nimba now, they have had several polls on the different radio stations, interpreters, Cllr, Ganta, Sanikole. They said, do we want a tail still or we want a hair this time? Overwhelmingly, they say that the hair we're looking for. And historically, it has been shown that when a son of Nimba runs, he gets majority of the vote for presidency. He gets majority of the votes from Nimba, from Jacksonville 1985 to Koto 2005 to Prince Johnson 2 times. Senator Prince Johnson came 3rd and 4th. That means he got almost all of the votes from Nimba County and the Nimba people all over Liberia that you can find in River Cess, in River G, in Grand Cru, in Bapolo, in Cape Mine, everywhere. So right now they are so excited. They think that they are close to the presidency with their son, Councilor Gongloe. So there's no conflict, there's no confusion in Nimba. It's not going to affect you.
Have the Nimba Kwado, have you spoken to the group Nimba Kwado? Have they endorsed your bid to be president?
You see, Nimba Kwado, the young man called Isaac Dan, made a mistake by going and without consultation, pledging support. As a result, he was removed, and they are trying to settle the differences in there. But everywhere I went, through all Liberia, Nimba Kwado was so excited. Every country I went to, they are well organized, they are business people, they are independent, nobody controls them, they are well established, and they say, we want the head. That is the unanimous call from everywhere in Nimba. You know, so
have you spoken to them? Have they accepted you? I mean,
yes,
we want to see something. Have they come out with any announcement, Councilor Gongloe, that you the man?
No, forget about that announcement. I am saying I met, because right now they have a leadership crisis. Their president, Isaac Dan, took some people to Jamaica. They didn't know what they were going there for, and he just announced that they are going to support President Weah's second term bid. The confusion broke out right there. Before the next day, the board removed him. They now have an interim president called Randy Fangalo. Their constitution says they are not political, so they are not supposed to make that announcement of Nimba Kwado supporting. So you can get to individual members of Nimba Kwado, they can talk to you. Like for example, the Nimba governor in Bapolo, Yomi, I talked to him, And he said, our organization is non-political, but we Nimba people here will support you. Same thing in refugee. And we have right now a coordinator for Southeastern Liberia, James Bele, who is in Zretru and goes all over. He's coordinating all the Nimba people there. But the people constitution say they are non-political, just like the bar association. So many lawyers support me, but the bar cannot come out and say we support Councillor Gongloe. No, it is against their constitution. As a lawyer, I have to respect that. And I think it's wrong for politicians to get organizations that say they are non-political to pledge support to them. Even me, I'm a member of the Simon Greenleaf Hall from University of Liberia, with a large group of students in the dormitory there. And they have a website there. One time I said, oh, a Simon Greenleaf Hall president is running. They came after me. Our organization is non-political. You got to respect that, you know. So I don't expect Nimba
my last question, we'll get back to the Nimba politics, but my last question to you, Councillor Gongloe, please correct us and let's make this correction tonight. Were you ever asked by Jose Yimam to be his VP or any one of the political
I will not even let you
party?
No.
Were you ever asked by Alexander Cummings?
No.
To be his running mate?
No.
Would you have say yes?
I can't go to that. And they know why they didn't ask me. Yeah? Look, people forget that Joseph Yimam and Ellen Johnson Sirleaf were part of a government that I resigned from that made them look very bad. You don't think that they have a settled position on me? If somebody doesn't think, I resigned in 2005 in the 5th year of President Sirleaf's government, the Unity Party government, and Joseph Boakai stayed on for 12 years. Are we holding the same values? That is a debate for you, but I don't think we hold the same values. And a lot of people don't want somebody who is seen as a strong person all over Africa. People don't have strong vice presidents. They always look for people that they can control. This man is so independent-minded. I mean, discussion we had in different political camps that you see Councillor Gongloe, that man, I know he didn't get time for poverty and all of that. He can live in a life. So this man in 1 month could even resign as vice president. And I told people who told me, I said, that's true. I love Liberia more than anything else. And I cannot stay with a group because if I see a group doing something that led us to 300,000 people dying in Liberia, the war, my conscience will tell me, what are you doing here? You are a co-conspirator in the failure of Liberia. So I'll resign. I don't owe any loyalty to individuals. I owe loyalty to Liberia. And so I'm a risky politician when it comes to an establishment politician. I'm an advocate, I'm a change agent. And people can't handle me. So
but understand, you're sending some firing shot right now to the UP camp, Councillor Gongloe. You say you resigned 2005 because of what under the UP government, Madam Sirleaf, you didn't like their operation. You had to step aside, and you did. So let's just agree on principle. Are you saying yourself, will you work under the Joseph Yimam government if elected, or the Alexander Cummings government? If you are not the president, will you accept a position from that administration?
Let me say this. I am not one of those in Liberia who believe in a sense of indispensability and therefore being recycled. I've seen people in Liberia become minister, then after some time they appoint a deputy minister to go there, or you minister in the government and all that. Look, there has to be a chance for Remy Gray and other young people to be ministers, man. I've been minister, I've been solicitor general, I've been minister. I work in the executive branch of government. I believe I can only be an advisor to someone running my law office, but I cannot be, I've been minister. Other people should go in the cabinet and have their experiences too. I don't think it's fair for some people say minister honor Taylor, then they come, you say minister honor Judy Bryan, they say minister honor Ellen, then they say minister again. Are they the only ones in Liberia? Other people need to have their experiences. Other family names need to come out too in this report of Liberia. So I don't believe in becoming anybody's minister after this. frankly, I've said
I'm going to come back. Let me bring Al Hussein, and we're going to stick to the conversation. Fadika, your 2 questions, sir.
Cool. Well, it's probably evening there, Councillor Gongloe. Sorry I came late. I had some other engagement, but I had to do everything to come here. I do see you going around the country with your broom, and to be frank, almost everyone that I've spoken with has said nothing but good things about you. My problem is, you know that Liberia, we have a proliferation of political parties. Everybody cannot win. How do you intend to win this election?
I intend to win the election by winning the minds of the Liberian people. That is why, since 1847, you can prove me wrong historically. No presidential candidate has gone to even 50 towns in any presidential period. I have gone to over 300, and the people are so excited that I'm going to them. I'm winning mine. One 87-year-old man told me in Princeton, keep on what you're doing. He said the people in Greenville and all the big towns are rascals, so they are for everybody. But for us, when you come to us, when we give you our word, we stick to it. He said, in most of the towns I went to are the first presidential aspirant to ever go there in their life. The only town they mentioned, I think, that 2 zones where President George Weah went in 2005, and then in Princeton where Councillor Bromsky also went in 2005. The rest of the towns outside the capitals of the counties and the big cities in the counties, I was told I was the first to be going there. Places like Herrington in Bapolo, places like Cambotan in Riverses, or Zonotan in Grand Bassa, or Cllr in Bonkande. All these places that I went to, you know, I was told, or Babla Town in Grand Jeddah, you know, or Zaita.
What about Nimba? I see you mentioned a lot of the county. What about Nimba? Because Nimba County,
because you know, that's where, listen,
and
that's where I'm from. That's why I don't want to mention. You know what? The last,
well, if you can win home, you know you got to win a lion's share at home before you can
I've already won home. Listen, before I started this venture, we had a meeting on December 3rd, 2021 with the elders of Nimba in Cllr. That meeting was chaired by Paramount Chief, the doyen of the Paramount Chief of Nimba. His name is Franklin Toy. And he called all the elders together. And I told them, look, my friends in Liberia, many people have called upon me to be president. On the 4th of December, I'm supposed to agree or disagree. What do you say? Then, while we're talking, the elders of Bonkande came because I went and saw my mother's people. I said, uncle, aunts, the people are saying I should run for presidency. When you say you think I should agree, they say we think you should agree. They say we voted for Georgia. We don't know him, but because he carry our niece, Joel Howard. Now you, our nephew, people want you to be president, we will support you. When I went to Cllr, I didn't know the Pope. They said, where you going? I said, I'm going to Cllr to meet the Nimba elders. In the morning, as I was speaking to the Nimba elders, the Bonkande elders arrived with 1 cutlass in their hand. And then they brought money, their Cllr. They gave Cllr to the Nimba elders. They say, we agree for our son to run. 1 year to tell him, for our nephew to run. 1 year to tell him to run. So the Nimba elders agree. They say, we agree. Chief Franklin Towa said, no, politics coming. I want you to speak. The 9 districts represented from each of them should speak. He started with district number 1. The elder spoke. He's a blind man, so he told his assistant, Moses, write the president's name down and the telephone number because I don't want to deny tomorrow. So they went through the 9 districts. I'm from District 9. After that, I said, you agree? Then let's take the Cllr from our in-laws. Traditionally, they took the Cllr and they ate it with some money and all that. Then right after that, the Bonkande elders said, we got something to say. They said what? They brought cutlass, brand new cutlass. They are not sharpening using. They gave it to Franklin Toy, Chief Toy. They said, Chief Toy, since you agree for our nephew to run, and you say you will support him, your son, we are giving you the elders of Nimba County this cutlass to cut everything in his way in Nimba County here. Then one elder said, what our in-laws are saying, the meaning of what our in-laws are saying is that if any of our sons, since we agree today for Councillor Gongloe to run, he's the first to come to us, we must tell our son to wait for 2029, the next election.
So Councillor Gongloe, not meaning to cut you off.
Otherwise, we'll be making ourselves shame to our in-laws. That was the decision. And maybe that's why my nephew Kun decided, the Nimba Poor finish speaking, I know they are tradition. Let me go for vice presidency. So there's no conflict there. The Nimba Poor decided.
The reason why this conversation is coming up, and I'm sure you know where I'm heading. There's another strong man in Nimba County. His name is Prince Johnson. He seems to be winning a lot of votes there. And I'm not hearing that Prince Johnson have endorsed you. From everything that we know out there, he seemed to have endorsed Jeremiah Kun. So how will you be able to navigate this whole Prince Johnson influence in Nimba County? I hear the story, all the chiefs, based on tradition, they seem to be heading your way. But how are you planning to get past this hero? From my indication, have you gotten past him?
Fadika, Don, I always tell people, when catfish come from in the water and chop an alligator, you black there can say they're not true. I'm from Nimba. I know Nimba. I don't doubt in Nimba County, the Nimba people vote for Prince Johnson when he's running for the Senate. There's no history that when he points the finger that where to go. Just recently in Ganta, when he lifted one of my friends up, a hand up and say that the mayor should vote for, they didn't vote for him. There have been many people who, when they are lifted up, they say, we can vote for you, but you can't transfer our votes to anybody else. That has been the tradition in Nimba. They're very proud people. They vote for him. Yo, I beg you, yeah.
All right, thank you. I mean, fair enough. I mean, I don't.
Thank you.
And I've been to 110 towns in Nimba. Never.
Thank you very much. Let me just make some. But that was your second question, my man.
My second question, Councillor, this will be very quick. And I like the broom, honestly. Liberia needs some cleanup. But one of the biggest problems that we are faced with is unemployment, especially youth unemployment. I don't know whether someone have asked that question before. My question specifically to you is, what policy or program would you put in place to create new job opportunity, or just improve the overall quality of jobs in the country? What policy?
Let me expose to you that because I'm the only aspirant that I've been on so many media outlets, every question that I have been asked 5 times or more, even this one you're asking. I'm a former Minister of Labor. I'm an economist by profession, and I know labor is a factor of production. Now, one of the things, first thing when our labor ministry, here is what I did to improve employment of Liberians. In fact, when I appeared before the Liberian Senate, they said, what's the one thing they want to do at labor ministry? I said, Liberianization of labor. So I then got a labor ministry, and I found out that the work permit fee was low. It had been there for more than 10 years. I increased, I issued regulation number 17 with the support of my staff. We discussed it, and all of them said, you know what happened? We need to increase the work permit fee. Since the employers want to keep bringing Indian, Lebanese, and other people, we increased the work permit fee from $400 to $1,000 United States dollars. As soon as we did it, Fadika, that year, some people who employed 60 persons who are non-Liberian, reduce it to 20, reduce it to 30, reduce it to 15. Because you pay $1,000 this year, next year you pay another $1,000, it will eat into your profit. We hit it right at that call, we're correct. Today, all of the young people you see as cashier in the supermarkets were there after regulation number 17 was issued. I just met the Minister of Labor the other day, my friend Charles Gibson said, my man, your regulation is still working. Yeah, that good regulation issued is still working and is helping to provide jobs for a lot of Liberians. But more than that, I have in my plan to do this, to deconcentrate the economy from Monrovia by giving tax incentive and other incentives to value addition companies that want to engage, for example, furniture making or any other thing. Maybe they want to produce some condoms and other things from natural rubber in our country. We give them incentive. Every 50 miles from Monrovia, we drop corporate tax. Every 50 miles, to the extent that if you have a corporation, a factory in Hermanstown, Buffalo County, or in Boajiken in Grand Crook County, or in Sedekan in Maryland, or in Vonjama, any of those places. Look, even building a factory will create jobs. Then when we are creating that job, people, even though the companies are paying low corporate tax, they will be paying payroll tax to government. Government tax base will be expanded by that policy. Then when the factory is finished, say you employ 500 persons in the factory, there will be a multiplying effect of that investment, because the money that the employees will receive, they will pay rent to the house owners in the area. The house owners will then buy goods in the market. Drugstores will open. That one investment will have an unending multiplier effect. The economy will be improved in the local areas. The young people then, there will be a slowdown in the rural-urban migration. A lot of young people, when they finish high school, they just come to Monrovia, or they finish college, they come to Monrovia, because no job centers in any part of the country. So when they come to Monrovia, it's also related to the question that Remy asked. So they come to Monrovia, they spend 2-3 months, no job. Their friends say, "My man, you're frustrated. I cannot go somewhere so you can feel good." They take them to the ghetto. They get addicted to drugs. They get in armed robbery. They're checking women's bags at night, to the extent that Monrovia has a virtual curfew. After 9 o'clock, you don't find people going to any entertainment area. It is related to the lack of jobs as well. So fighting crime and improving the economy are two things that must happen together.
Thank you very much, Councillor Gongloe. We'll be going to, just real quick before we get to Fagon. I think we need to make the correction. You didn't resign from Madam Salif government 2005, because you said it.
No, not 2005. Sorry.
Exactly.
2010. Jesus.
Thank you very much. We just need to make that correction, because she came to power 2005, 2006. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now let's go to Honorable Fagon. Fagon, please.
Thank you very much. Council, this one will be how they want that something are going in my way time my bed to take it off. If I sit and say, I will lead it.
Bring it on.
Council, the Liberian people are yearning for justice. Most politicians play around. Yes, I'm in for the War Crimes Code, but they will never tell you what they will do from day one. And they will never tell you how they're going to go about it. Everybody is in for it. Nobody is willing to tell you what they'll do. Council, my first question. We all want the War and Economic Crimes Code. You're going to tell me that, yes, I support it. Council, how are you going to bring the War and Economic Crime Code is my question. And how forceful will you be in making sure that whatever way you think about bringing it, how are you going to bring it? When it gets here, you'll be ready to move. And how soon?
You know, I'm not going to run an arbitrary dictatorial government. It's a democratic government. A lot depends on the legislature. But if you're a strong president, you can convince the legislature to pass the law that you think is one of the fundamental laws of your regime. And you've seen it. You've seen under President Saleh, President Weah, the laws they wanted to pass got passed. Although I will not use brown envelopes and all of that, but I will persuade them. I will meet with the legislature many times. I will take my case to the Liberian people. As you know, the draft that is there now, there's a draft of the bill for the establishment of War and Economic Crimes Court. It was done under my administration as president of the bar with the help of the civil society. We were presented June 24th, I think it was in 2021 or so. It is there. A majority of the people in the House of Representatives are for it, minority opposed to it, and almost the entire Senate is opposed to it. So even if all of us collectively use that on your media platform and other media platform to make it a campaign issue, a lot of the lawmakers may not go back, you know, and we cannot make one step without a lawmaker. We have done the draft, is there. We submitted our draft. We did it with the help of a law professor from Nottingham in Britain. We sent it to other criminal law experts in America. Everybody looked at it. It was good. In fact, I felt so proud that I was invited as a criminal law expert to Gambia 2 years ago to look at their draft because they are doing something for the Yahya Jammeh era to prosecute people. And I saw, Eugene, I was so happy. The draft they brought, the Gambian draft, had 16 footnotes from the Liberian draft that had not been used. So it's a good law. All we need to do is to collectively persuade the legislature to pass it because accountability is important and we cannot as a nation promote impunity. So that's what we're going to do. We'll take our case to the legislature from there. We'll start talking to them from there. We'll take it to the people, so that people can pressure them.
Okay, my next question will be, there's an instrument lurking within the corridors of our judicial system, no matter how you put it, and that is the TRC report. Tell me what you make about the TRC report, and tell me whether or not it is an instrument that can be relied upon to prosecute individuals, or, as others will say, it was meant for reconciliation, and so forth and so on. What do you make of the TRC report?
The TRC, I give them authority to do truth telling and for people to show contract heart that they felt that they were sorry for what they did, and to be able to meet the victims. And so many of them who were named for, recommended for actions, did not admit to the wrongdoing, to the criminal act. And the TRC spoke to people all over Liberia. From what I know, I was in government then. They even, I remember the president didn't want to go there, and I wrote the speech when she was launching the TRC, and I put a line there. The TRC is so important for national healing. So even I will not be above the process. So when somebody put a justice ministry say, Madam President, don't appear because you will be breaking your immunity and this and that. I call her and say, but you got to be consistent because in your speech you said, not even you will be above the process you appear. When she appeared, she has said, look, I supported. And I actually told her, I said, look, I was in South Africa working for the UN. Mandela admitted his wrong and said, look, we did this. The apartheid regime forced us to choose violence as a means. And I admit that I was part of Mkumto was Sizwe. We bombed train stations. We did different things. I'm sorry for the consequences of my action. And I denounce violence from today. I said, Madam, go and say, okay, we say, not knowing, then when she appeared, she said, oh, I want to give 10,000 for humanitarian reasons. Because of that, that was not truth telling. So most of the people who appear, who were recommended for different actions, did not tell the truth, because you have to tell the truth, admit that you did wrong before you can even ask for forgiveness from the victim. So the thing, and so that is why I don't even like the people who say, oh, I killed a lot of people, I'm sorry. At least you must have known some of the places you kill people. Say in Busekora, I went there and killed people in our house there. I'm sorry. I understand that these people live in our house, so I'm sorry to the family. But somebody appear and say, I kill a lot of people, I'm sorry. I don't consider that to be important. I think the whole issue of accountability is something that we should follow. I think the TRC form a basis for the investigation for in that. It is also good for people who were, I've said it, there are people who were named can actually appear before a tribunal and they could be acquitted. Pierre Bamba of DRC was acquitted. Nobody can call Pierre Bamba a war criminal. He can sue you, right? Babo of Africa appeared before the ICC and was acquitted. There's a possibility of of being acquitted, because when you appear before the tribunal, the admissible evidence, the hard judicial evidence that the law requires that comes, and sometimes you could be acquitted. Because the thing is, nobody will tell us that you go to war, instead of killing the people who are pointing guns at you, you leave and can't kill pregnant women hiding in the church or looking for food somewhere, or you kill people at the gate, and people say that should go free. No. You know, that cowardly act should not go free, because it would let it go free in another generation, maybe while we are alive or while we are dead. It will happen.
So what will you do with the TRC report? It's a direct question.
Listen,
what will you do? Will you
listen to me?
Put it down like the other people?
No, I'm not that kind of person. I'm not that kind of person. Look, when I appear, even to become Solicitor General, one of the person now named in the TRC report actually asked me, Councillor Gongloe, you have been recommended to be Solicitor General. What do you think about war crimes? And at the risk of not being confirmed, I said, I strongly believe in transitional justice, and that those who committed heinous crime during the war should be held accountable. And I knew that answer would have caused my not being confirmed. But I love Liberia more than opportunity to work. And it was while I was president of the bar, we took a decision. I remember that I was president of the bar, we took a decision that the bar supports the full implementation of all of the recommendations of the TRC, especially the establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Code. I cannot be inconsistent. At least I'm one of my assets. So
thank you, Councillor Gongloe. Before we get to Arabic Great, Councillor Gongloe, honor your position serving within the Madam Salif government. The government then turned Chancellor over. The government then turned Chancellor over. The people of Nimba, the people of Liberia, understood exactly what was at stake. Will you be in a position to turn Prince Johnson over if the international community requests Prince Johnson?
No, but you see, even on your own show, I think it was on this show that Senator Prince Johnson said, you know what, I'm prepared to go to the War Crimes Code if that is what Liberia needs. So that's not even an issue anymore. But I can tell you, even if my child is in violation of the law, I will stand on the side of the law. There's no question about that. You know, there's no question about that. Anybody in violation of the law, I will stand on the side of the law. I don't have
knowing what you know. You were in Liberia, Councillor Gongloe. You went through the war. We heard your story from the April 6th. We heard all those stories. You went through everything like some of us did. Knowing what you know, do you think Prince Johnson need to be turned over to the War and International Crime Court?
I don't know why you make Prince Johnson a special case. He's not exempted. Look, and even Jeremiah Combs, whom he recommended, has said he stands for War Crime Tribunal. So there is some sort of unanimity of views coming on this. It makes it easier now. I didn't turn Taylor over because I hated Taylor. That's what the law required, and my office demanded the president asked me to go and represent the government, and I did so. Turning Prince Johnson is not an issue. It's not a big issue to me. Anybody who violates the law must face the law. Why are you making a big case unless you don't know me?
So then I will ask you this. My last question, then we'll go to Arabic, please. Let me ask you this, though. The NDR, now the standard bearer is Jeremiah Combs. Most Liberians saying, well, Jeremiah Combs came into play because of Prince Johnson. You are from Nimba. Will you tie Jeremiah Combs to Prince Johnson relationship, since now he's the VP candidate to Jose Yemabuaka? Or Jeremiah Combs is his
when
own
we
man?
started this conversation, I told you I'm not interested in vice president that other people parties carry. That's their business. They will take their chances with the Liberian and the international community. That is left to do. Anybody who becomes president today will need the support of the United States government. If your action is seen as defiance by the United States government, you will face the consequences. And I know historically, United States government does not take defiance lightly. Noriega did not even kill an American. He just said the time is coming, we'll see the borders of our enemies flowing on the Panama Canal. The next day he saw himself in jail because American government took it as an attack on U.S. troops. And they say it was a violation of the War Powers Act. And that's what caused the president to act without the approval of the Congress. You know, I saw that debate in New York, 1990, when I was there at Columbia, learning human rights advocacy. There was a debate between George Ipsofer from the State Department lawyer, and the late Louis Hankin, an international law professor from Columbia University, and they were debating on whether or not the president was right to use the War Powers Act. So that you know, anybody who knows well will not defy any major force in the world. And the American government was very clear through the State Department, through the embassy in Monrovia. Sometimes people forget, maybe because our government maybe behave differently. When an American ambassador in Monrovia speaks, that, especially a press statement, it is clear by State Department, it is clear by White House. So when the ambassador, plenipotentiary, speaks in Monrovia, it is the president of the United States that is speaking. And when you defy it and do otherwise, you are left with the consequences.
Councilor Gongloe, let's move to Aaron McGray. Thank you very much. Conor Gray.
You know, Council, one of your signature program is ending corruption. As indicative of you carrying a broom, you know, you sweeping corruption, so to speak. But then at the same time, scholars have come out and said, we just don't have the structure legally to prosecute corruption. So as a result, some political organizations, i.e. the Alternative National Congress, have proposed a special court for corruption just to fast-pace the movement, the process. Do you think we have the legal structure to really prosecute corruption vehemently so that we can put an end to this menace in our society?
Yes, we do. We have the criminal code C, which is for theft, and we have courts all over the country that have general jurisdiction over all criminal acts. The only special code we have for crime is the rape code. But let me tell you this. What we have in Liberia is not a question of, the impediment we have is not a question of not having a court. The impediment we have is lack of political will. It's lack of political will, basically. For example, you know, and people like to have exceptions. Any situation that have too many exceptions is ineffective. For example, right now, all of us are criticizing President Weah's government. But I can say without any hesitation that I'm the only aspirant in this race who have a history of criticizing other presidents besides Weah. The other one, the only president in their life that they have ever criticized, and all of them are above 60 years old, they were adults when the other presidents were in power, is President Weah. That says something. Do they know that the other president did not have the political will to fight corruption? Will they have? We have a situation where the past president was saying some people oh, this is my untouchable. This is one of my untouchables. How can you have a government have untouchables? Oh, I can put my hair on chopping board with this person. They other report by John Molu. I agree with, because I can put my hair on chopping board. When you do that, it sounds like obstruction of justice. And I'm saying that, you know, nobody should make any big deal of creating a special code. That whole idea of creating corruption code started even when Johnny Lewis was State Chief Justice. I was saying, look, is government bringing corruption cases to court, to criminal code C and other courts? Let's see that there is a plethora of cases that are being brought to court and the capacity of the court is not there. You haven't even done it. So there has to be a justification for adding one more budgetary item to give that burden to Liberian people. Let us use the system as it is. Let's have the political will to use the system. I think
Your
that is
second
what
question, Mervyn.
All right, Council. Another question has to do with the bloating of our government, and it's just too bloated. Big bureaucracy, very sluggish, producing nothing effective. People go to work just for paycheck. They're really not contributing any level of expertise to enhance governmental activity in general. Do you subscribe to that idea that we need to reduce the size of government in order and repatriate whatever is acquired from there to the private sector?
You know, let me say this. Again, it's the lack of political will to do what is right. The government employment has increased, population has increased, different agencies are being added to government, but you gotta, govern. Government is not a laissez-faire thing. You don't let people do as they wish. President Tobo had all his faults, but as a young man growing up, I admire him as a taskmaster. President Tobo was leading by example in many respects. Look, he will come from Bensonville, enter the executive mansion at 7:30. Why do I know that on the second floor of the executive of the Seymour Greenleaf, we used to hear the siren entering with 3-car convoy. Enter the executive mansion 7:30. My uncle working in the mansion as a SSS officer. He said, look, the man will go in the chapel 7:30. From 7:30 to 8 o'clock, he finished praying for everybody. He goes to his office 8 o'clock and organizes work. Exactly 9 o'clock, the servants start going to the ministries. And if you get to your ministry and you are not there, you go to Ministry of Education first. That's why he dismissed the late G. Flaman Sherman, Minister of Education. He said he came to work 10 o'clock. When he came, he just handed his letter of dismissal. Because you get there 10 o'clock, you're not there, you call his private secretary and say, write me a letter of dismissal and bring it. Let the SS bring it. So he didn't sit in Bensonville to fire you. He himself showed that it is possible to come to work on time. And he came to work, then he went to your ministry, and if he didn't see you, he fired you. That made the machinery of government to start working. When I was at the labor ministry, I asked people, I used to be the first to go to labor ministry. I go upstairs at 8:30, I come downstairs and draw a line and sign it. The best leadership is by example. Once we start doing that and the systems start functioning, then we'll see, and then we'll have clear job description for those in the system. Then we'll see, and then we'll make sure that people work, not just give job to people based on friendship, but to make even people know the system. I see some people today, they want to be president. No experience in Liberian governance. Look, the other day, Ambassador Eddie Don and I were talking. I was saying, Eddie, I remember I was young, but when people used to come from abroad, even with a master's degree, they will start an assistant director. Then they go become director. Then before assistant minister, they know in the system. He said, but it happened to my brother, D. Edward Don, the American with PhD. He was direct, and then the main director of Foreign Service Institute or something like that. Then later on, assistant minister. Then before he rose up to the cabinet. That's how you make system work. But since 1980, we dropped this thing and people just jump. If you have supervisors who can direct you, you don't have respect for them. They don't even know how to direct you. So you can make the system small, but if you have that kind of attitude, it becomes ineffective. What are the only 2 ministries you have? If you don't place people, if they don't have the proper steps to go up and be learning, the system will not work. So as somebody who works in the system, look, I told somebody the other day, they said, oh, why do you say if you have not worked in government, you can't be president? I said, because our people in Liberia say, when you say you can plant new money, they say, show me the old one first. Even the car washers on Buchanan Street, because I was standing near Buchanan Street, the car, they can take 30 minutes to wash. Remy, if you go wash that car, you'll take 3 hours because they've been washing it for years and they know how to
Okay, so the
fast.
Gongloe.
So
let move. Let have a little bit of a strange debate. They got the experience. Mr. Cummings. I will bring in Mr. Cummings' name. I know you're not pointing to Mr. Cummings. You're being open. He served as an executive on Coca-Cola, though. He have international connection, the experience. Are you going to exempt him with those experience and the credential he will be bringing forth? You're going to exempt him that he, I mean, you are not talking, you are not speaking about Mr. Cummings?
You like to bring him just as you brought Prince John's name. I'll try to be general. But let me say
No, I just like to bring name. The politics we on here, Councilor Gongloe. We got to be fair now.
Yeah. So, but let me say this. I know that anything in life without experience, look, private sector, as an economist, I know in the private sector, the whole objective is to maximize profit. In the public sector, the objective is to seek the common good. And in the process, you can sometimes borrow money. That's why when I hear our Minister of Finance saying, oh, we have budget surplus, I say, hey, budget surplus, no medicine at JFK. Our budget surplus, our road so bad. Budget surplus. What are you talking about budget surplus? Surplus, that profit, that concept belongs in the private sector. So if you are used to that, you come in a public sector, you'll be trying to say, no, this is waste. You can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do that. You will create anger. And you know, anger can undermine peace. Let me tell you, the things that experience, every job in the world, they can say you get PhD, but do you have experience? You go look for a job now, you get PhD. The other man got master's degree. You don't get no experience. The man got 5 years experience. He know what has work and field. I tell you, whoever is providing that job will employ the man who has master's degree or the man who got PhD, who has even written 5 books. It is just normal that
so does that disqualify Mr. Cummings? But Councilor Taiwan Gongloe, does that disqualify Mr. Cummings now? Because you cannot give us a shot and you want to pull back on the ammunition. You open yourself with all your credential. You know nothing about Liberia. You have not worked through the system. The international experience is good, but come watch car. Understand our system.
So listen,
well, who are you talking about? No, let me learn, Councilor. Councilor, please allow me to learn, please. Joseph Yima Boaga, experience in the country, almost 40 years. Councilor Taiwan Gongloe, work in government.
9 years.
Lawyer, good. You have Simon Freeman, Madera Cooper, and who else out there? Mr. Cummings. The only person we can say that would not be okay, but I want to tell you. Okay, I know you try, but Simon Freeman doing business in Liberia. Simon Freeman understand the system. But let me say this. Let me narrow it down to just the big 4. It would be the big 3, I can say. How you call it? JMB, ABC, and you. And you saying that ABC is the only person that have not worked in government. Be open. Tell the Liberian people. Does that disqualify him, Councilor Gongloe, or are you just giving a cheap shot?
Oh, the Liberian people will elect someone who can do the job. But like I told you, there are some parables in Liberia that are full of wisdom that help us. In fact, all of our parables. They say if you can plant new man, show the old man. They say we can buy pig in a bag. It means they have to know you. Also, let me tell you, one of the major things in Liberia is this corruption we're talking about. If you are now working in Liberia, for your classmate to come to you and say, my man, it's rough, you know, I need $20,000 and so, and you got operational fund in your ministry to give it to him. If your brother is coming for a job and not qualified for the job, and you see that temptation and resist it, you have all. There can be temptation even in your bedroom. Some people are corrupt because their wives, their brothers and sisters worry them so much. Look, let me tell you my story. As Minister of Labor, I went to Glazer.
I beg you, while we're going through your story, can you just narrow the answer because we gotta go. It's after 6 years, Councilor Gongloe. The reason why I'm asking you this because the only person that have not worked in the government, Joseph Yima Boaga, Taiwan say Gongloe, and Alexander B. Cummings will be Alexander B. Cummings. He have not worked under the Liberian government, and the experience from the government like you and JMB have acquired. So are you telling the Liberian people
not provide information
because of the
about
experience? No, I will come to you, my brother. Let me land with my question. I want my question to be free. I don't want any
no,
interruption.
but Alex
I
has
beg
working
you,
government.
Councilor Remy Gray, please let me ask my question.
Alex
You will have
Cummings has working
Councilor
government.
Remy Gray, you will ask your question, please. With all due respect, I want to put my question to Councilor. The Councilor say experience matter, and it's true. Yeah, in the United States, with other experience, I have observed it. You will go, they will say, yes, that's my degree. I'm a registered nurse. I'm an LPN. I'm a how you procurement manager. Where have you worked last? Okay, somebody will say I worked there for 10 years, 15 years, whatsoever. Councilor Gongloe, Mr. Cummings, the only thing we ever saw on Mr. Cummings, when Joey told Mr. Cummings, said, I hire you to be on the board to be WI. Mr. Cummings came back for a few months. He worked at one of those banks. Now, the experience that you, Councilor Gongloe, have, Jose Yimabaka, Mr. Cummings, does not have the experience when you talk about Liberia government. Are you talking about Mr. Cummings, that he lacking that working experience?
Well, if you say that, then he's not fit for the office. You got to know. You got to know the system. You know, and some people live in Liberia, I mean, in America, they work with the city government, they work with the state government, they work with even federal government. They had that experience. If you haven't had that experience of working for government, then, you know, even your best judgment will be wrong, and we don't need that in Liberia moving forward. You know, I always say, you know, that you got to know Liberia. Obama, Clinton, all the people who are good president in America can be good president in Liberia. You know why? Because as a country, we can say, I come and go. When I tell you I come and go, you are Liberian, you understand it. But if you are not living in Liberia, you don't know what you don't understand it, because you can be coming and going. But we understand it, right? So if you don't know Liberia, you don't know Liberian people, how you be that president?
So my last question before we bring Remy Gray, because we're wrapping this thing down. You called for sanction on Buffer Chimba when he was distributing money in his county. Can you tell Liberia on this network, for our audience, you are calling the American government to sanction him? Am I correct?
Yes.
Because, yes, talk to us on that note, please.
Look, let me tell you. You know, because of the lack of political way to fight corruption in Liberia, even when our president Bar, I think the last Law Day statement, I was there 3-minute speech, and the American ambassador was there, and the EU ambassador was there. I said, I'm calling upon the international community to bring stringent sanctions on the corrupt people in the 3 branches of government, because we, as a people, lack the political way to fight. But when the people steal the money here, they bring it to your country and invest. Therefore, please help us. And then afterwards, they brought their sanction. Now, the sanction says that pay for play is in violation of the Minisky Act. During election time, Mr. Buffer Chimba is putting stack of Liberian dollars on the table to give it to the people. Not only I call upon the American government to sanction government officials in the CDC government and officials of the CDC government, because they're in violation of the Minisky Act. And it must be fair, because they said the government said one of the reasons that Magay was sanctioned was pay for play. When Prince Johnson was sanctioned for vote selling, then I call upon the American government. I said, but Magay is vote buying. That year, Magay spent 170 million Liberian dollars in Nimba, Bong, Margipi, and Grand Bassa County. So I said, but this is vote buying. Subsequently, he was sanctioned. And I'm seeing these people doing the same thing. They should be sanctioned for fairness. And they are undermining the fairness of the electoral process. There has to be
have you written a document to the United States government, to the embassy, to the European partners?
No.
You just spoke on it openly?
No, I spoke on it openly.
Okay. No, will you follow through? Will you follow through, though?
Not necessarily. I will speak. The American government has its public affairs board that listen every day to what we say in Liberia, and they record it. How you think they come up with different reports? They do investigation. Not just by my statement, they'll go and find out from Kipamas whether or not money was put on the table, whether that money was meant to influence voters. They got experts working with them. Some of them are Liberians.
Thank you. Let's bring in Al Hassan. Al Hassan, you will take us home because we have other development coming up, my brother.
I get
Consider
one question that people say about ASU. They send me 10,000 people send me question, and only one question they want to answer tonight.
All right, after Al Hassan.
Yeah, only one
make
question.
sure I don't ask that question. They've been telling me too. There has been word out there, and you know, Liberia, we always have some gossip, and most gossip sometimes end up being true, sometimes not. Have you ever been offered Chief Justice position by any of the presidential candidates?
No, not true.
Never had that discussion with anybody?
Nobody.
All right. My question to you, Councillor Gongloe, is about back to the economy. I think Remy Gray talked about drugs. In your earlier speech, you said something about Liberianization.
Yeah.
You said you would use that. And one of the things that you said, and I thought it was kind of alarming, that you will ensure that only Liberian work. I just wanted to make sure that I heard you right. In certain area, I know you mentioned supermarket and something. I know we already have a Liberianization policy. Is that how you want to get the youth back to work? Is that what I was hearing? I need clarity before I really ask that question.
No, I said two things. I also told you that we'll give incentives to create companies all over the country that will employ the young people, right? And I didn't say only supermarkets and all of that. I said the regulation number 17 that increased the work permit fee, free up jobs for a lot of Liberians. And I was just giving Liberians who work as cashiers in the supermarket as one example. That before the regulation number 17, there were non-Liberians who occupied these positions. But that regulation number 17 free up a lot of jobs for a lot of young people, you know, all over the country. One of the things we'll do, and it's in my 10-point agenda, is to create free trade schools in the 15 countries to train up young people to be ready for the job market. You know, we had when our labor minister, there were times companies will come in the country and say, I'm not signing work permit for these foreigners you're bringing. And then I would say sometimes, look, go and advertise for 1 month on the in the newspapers and on the internet and see whether we don't have Liberians for this. We also had a data bank there for Liberians with a CV. Sometimes you check that you're not found. People come for yellow machine operators. The one they will find would be like 65 or 70 who work with Lamco, Bomb Mines, Mother River, you know, way back, because we are not trained mechanics, heavy-duty mechanics. We are not trained yellow machine operators. We are not trained light-duty mechanics. We're not trained a lot of people. And because of that, these jobs were being taken over by Togolese, Ghanaians, and other people. We have one case with the American embassy. I told the American embassy, I'm not giving, and when they were building the new embassy, I said, I'm not giving work permit to the people you brought from Togo and other places. Then the ambassador, and so then we work on a program, and they say, oh, you know, some of your people don't know computer. Most of the machines are computerized. Finally, we agreed to get work permit because they agreed that there will be Liberian counterpart for 1 year to learn, to understudy. And they even went beyond that. They say every 15 days, we'll have, every 3 months, we'll have at least 15 interns to be trained. One of the interns live in Philadelphia now. He was trained, he was trained as a safety officer when they were building the American embassy. The man studied public administration at AMEU University. When he graduated, they gave him a certificate as a safety officer. That young man got a job with Buchanan Renewable and was paid $600 starting salary from that process. That is what I did in negotiating with the people for Liberians to get a job. It is true that our people didn't know the new machines, but we found a way for them to learn and say, if I stay as labor minister the next year, I'm going to say, well, show me evidence that you are training people. I can't give new work permit to these people anymore.
All right, let's go about our talk about the currency. There has been a lot of people. I know you are an economist. There are a lot of people that have been talking about having a single currency as a president. Will you get rid of the US dollar, keep the Liberian dollar?
I answered that question earlier. I've answered it many times. Look, in the whole sub-region, everybody is using single currency. And as you know, we are moving towards a single currency in West Africa. That discussion is on. Right now, Liberia is suffering because of double currency. When there's inflation in the US dollar by itself, and then there's a flooding of the Liberian dollar on the market, we face double inflation, and that is reflected in the prices of commodities, and that makes our people poorer. We need to change that. Look, on dough, for example, the US dollar was controlled by central bank. You want to come study, for study, they give you. You want to import, they give you. And things are moving. But to have the US dollar everywhere, and then Liberian dollar everywhere, and some people, you got so much, I think there's so much Liberian dollar circulating outside the banking system, and that will only keep the exchange rate going up, along with the prices going up, and Liberian people suffering more. So I think it's sensible to have the single currency, but most often, I know the problem with different presidents. They recruit people from America to be minister, deputy minister, managing director, and all that. They got mortgage here to pay, and because they have mortgage here to pay, they have to. It's easier for them to also be sending the money here. So, but we have to look at what is the larger Liberian interest in terms of what makes a greater number of Liberian people happy.
And one of those happened to be Mr. Cummings, who seems to be from the diaspora, heavily supported. Could we point finger at Mr. Cummings?
It's never you to point. You guys want me to point too many fingers tonight? That's okay.
Well, you already pointed one finger. Yeah, I mean we can do inductive reasoning to at least arrive at some conclusion, since he is the diaspora.
Why you can't tell my brother Remy Gray, who came from America to go work in Liberia, needed to remit money to
Remy Gray. Well,
but I want to bring in Remy Gray. Then from there, Fagon will take us home, because it's good having you, Councillor Gongloe. And listen, you always welcome on Spoon. We love having you. Fagon will ask the last question. Let me bring in Remy Gray for just one question. Connor Gray?
Council, you can answer yes or no on this. If you worked for Liberia LBDI, would you consider that as working for the government of Liberia? If you serve on the board of trustees of governmental agencies, would you consider that as working for Liberian government?
In my view, it's not sufficient to even make you a minister of a ministry in Liberia.
It's not sufficient.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. You want to follow through just real quick?
Whether it's working for government.
Oh, but
it's not a matter of sufficiency. It's a matter of yes or no.
No, I'm not going to answer yes or no. The yes is embedded. That government. It is not LBDI is not a government agency. It's not central bank. It's a government that is a bank that government has a share in. LBDI is not even housing bank. Housing bank was purely government. LBDI got other shareholders. Government just got a share in there. So it's not working for government in my view.
Thank you. So from the opposition standpoint, Councillor Gongloe, Councillor Gongloe, how you see the 2023 October 10th election?
I thought you said Eugene for a long time.
Yeah, Eugene will take us home, but Eugene gave me
10
seconds.
How he can do. When it reaches the sweep, I eat it.
Councillor Gongloe, I got to ask this question. How do you see 2023 election? Do you think the people going back to President George Manneh, we have to re-elect him? Or do you think somebody from the opposition, knowing what you know now, because you live in Liberia, somebody from the opposition will be elected president for
That's
Liberia?
Easy. That's easy. The election, the competition will be among the opposition political party leaders. And George Manneh has gone a long time. The Liberian people finished starting with a long time. It's the thing all over the country. It's clear. He's gone. He's not part of the factor. I can say with high degree of credibility, I've gone on.
Will you? I know, because that's why they just send me the message to actually, to be frank. It's true. The same people are saying, if I go message, send me. Will you, President Tewon say Gongloe, will you audit those ministers that write to this government, if elected, and persecute them to the fullest? Can you tell Liberians tonight?
That's an easier question for me. And I'm the one that prosecuted Judy Bryant from past government. I was the only president who have a history of prosecuting past government officials, and I have that experience. So as president, we set up a crack legal team there will be a commission inquiry, 2 commission inquiry, one to look at the economy and all of those things. Another commission inquiry will be for the mysterious unexplained deaths, you know, and these people will not be empowered, so the truth will come out. Those are 2 major commission inquiries that will set up, and there will be lawyers on both of those commission inquiries.
Thank you, Councilor Gongloe. Eugene, please take us home.
All right, there are 2. Oh, you had 2. Don't say take out one. Say you give me one. In fact, you have 4.
Remy had only 1 last. So
I have 1 too. I only have 1.
Okay, go ahead, Minister Fago.
I got 2. The first one here is this. We all believe in the United States, and you know they have the most powerful security engine in the world. They came up recently to talk about, indicted this government. I shouldn't say talk about. They indicted this government for extrajudicial killings. Could have been your brother, your friend, or your wife that was killed by this government. They indicted this government for drug dealings, and we can see it all in our country. As a matter of fact, they confiscated 100 million and then the 40 million drugs. They talk about corruption. A President Tewon said Gongloe, on day 1, will he request the assistance from the U.S. government with respect to evidence in order to ensure that the issue of extrajudicial killings, the proliferation of drugs, corruption, punishment, unusual and cruel punishment, all of those things named in the State Department report, will we get an answer from Tewon said Gongloe on day 1?
Is a capital? Is a yes with all the letters capital?
Thank you. The next question is simple. When you become president, the EPS people, your advisors and other people will not, I repeat, allow you to be carrying this broom around. They will say, my president, because will you give me that broom? Let me hold it for you, please.
Let me tell you this. As a president, I'll be in control of my governance, and I will carry the broom around because I want to educate the people every day that we have to run a clean government.
So they want to take the broom from you because
they will not take it from me, man. They will not take it from me. Look, they will not take it from me. I will do the same things I used to do before. You know, somebody say, even when I go to places in the towns, when you're president, you will come back here. I say, I will come back here. On my example, at Cllr Street. When I was working with Sawyer as executive assistant, I used to go to a tire shop on Cllr Street. When I began Solicitor General, I went there. Remy and myself, we used to meet on that Cllr Street and talk. Not true? There's SMP. And then when I became Minister of Labor, I used to go there 6 o'clock in the morning. By 7:30, I go to my office. You know, so it's not going to, I want to educate the society and leave a legacy of being in government and not stealing, because government is a place to serve, not to steal. The roads belong in jail. They don't belong in public offices. Public offices are honorable places. They belong to decent people.
So I take it you will be very active if there's a second round. If you don't win, you will be very active in ensuring that the opposition becomes victorious, whoever makes it to the second round, correct?
You know, that's a question that's left to the future. I will take a decision that is in the best interest of Liberia, but I'm not going to accept at this time that I'm not going to win. Elevate anybody.
No, that's why I'm saying, the reason why I'm asking you, we've seen this game before. People will say, as long as an opposition leader qualifies to the second round, I will support. And then when the second round comes, if it's not them, they say, I leave it to my people to decide. They take play and go sit down somewhere else, as if to say they're not supposed to help.
No, I'm not
That's
going
the
to.
basis of my question.
I'm not going to leave Liberia. I'm going to see the people. I strongly believe I'll win, but if we reach that bridge, we'll cross it. But I will take decision in the interest of Liberia. But let me say that thing you're talking about, it has invalidated a lot of political leaders because I've heard some people say, "Oh, I'm not supporting anybody." There are people who say that your business, we're going to support this person. Then it takes your leadership away. So I've seen all those things. And I'm not going to make the same mistake that others have made. That's all I can say.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Tewonsay Gongloe. We want to say we appreciate you.
Y'all go keep me for 5 hours. I'm ready to be here for the next 5 hours. I mean,
but then but if you're ready, then we got to talk about what is happening in Liberia right now. Well, let's end the show with you then. We got about 20 more minutes to go. No problem. Thank you.
The Liberian people got to have that sale.
So, yeah.
I
So
do have a gentleman named Hans that wants to
open the line. Let people ask questions.
So that's what we listen. We still got to talk about what is happening in Ganta today. We saw pictures from Ganta about the CPP convention. We want to discuss, and we're going to discuss actually what is also happening. What is happening between UP and Liberty Party, Yomli Kanga Liberty Party. We have to discuss it as well. But we're going to open the phone line. Something is happening. The CEO said there will be no personal phone calls from our personal cell phone. Everybody should go through the regular line. So, folks, if you're calling, try to call the regular line. James is going to put the number up because we do not want our friends or loved one to call and be an insult to our guests or to any one of the panelists. So, call the number James will put up. Yekezi, can you please come? James, good day. And let's just open the phone line for Liberians to call.
That's a man Yekezi.
Yekezi, but Councillor Gongloe now, from way on the other side, though.
Yekezi.
Yeah, but the thing when we start swearing the GB, we pronounce it well.
The way to live family life. Yekezi.
Yekezi. Yekezi always sleep in studio. Let's see whether he's awake today. Yekezi.
No, the man living family life right now.
Oh, when you're sleeping, right?
No, he's living family life. Family got this side of family.
All right, let's bring in Yekezi. Yekezi, thank you very much. We got Councillor with us. Open the phone line just from Liberia. Y'all please put the number up. Everyone should call the studio number, not our personal cell phone. We got in trouble because some friends of ours don't know how to behave when they call. They want to insult. We will not be responsible for that. So let it call the studio line. Councillor Yekezi Zogwe, please. Let's talk to the Liberian people, sir.
The numbers are 077771075, 077771075, 055101075. Let's talk to this person. Hello, your name and where you join us from.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening. Welcome. Your name and where you join us from.
Okay, my name is Fofi Kamara, calling from Dupo Road, to be precise, Siki community.
Fofi, let's hear you.
Yeah, I want to say good evening to my friend and big brother, Councillor Tewonsay Gongloe, and Mr. Waterspoon. The issue about what Councillor Tewonsay Gongloe just said regarding when he was Labor Minister during the early regime, and when the BRE company came in, I'm a living witness to that because the metal steel, the chief, how you call, there was a company for mining also. I will call the name of that company, G4, and a lot of company was in country. But when it comes to our labor system at that time, with the BRE came in with a very good salary. I was one of those that worked with BRE at the time. I was the head of security for the Buchanan Renewable Energy, and I know what was the starting salary. And one of the things BRE did, and they agreed with the government, and they were teaching people on the job.
Okay.
Those who happen to, hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. What's your question, my friend? The line is busy.
What else? Don't cut me off.
Hello?
But we got only 10 minutes, 30 seconds, my brother. Please. The line is busy. Can you get to your question?
Do the right thing.
You just want to summarize.
Yeah, okay. So to summarize this, BRE started to teach people on heavy duty machine. Young women were learning how to drive trucks and doing masonry job.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's talk to another person. Hello, your name and where you join us from?
Hello, my name is C. Momo Mata, and I'm calling you from down Ronald Street in Trenchtown, Coconut Plantation Community.
Let's hear you.
And let me say thank you to Councillor Chawon Gongloe. And I have a question. My question is, as we are getting towards the October 10th polls, if you are elected President Councillor Chawon Gongloe, what would be your policy for students, mainly the primary and secondary students? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for calling. Let's talk to this person. Hello, your name and where you join us from? Oh, I'm sorry. We can't take you. Let's talk to this other person. Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Your name and where you join us from?
My name is Flomo. I got 18th Street.
Who Flomo? Johnson Flomo?
Yes.
Johnson, let's hear you.
Yeah, I want to ask the councillor in studio. He was in here that relation he talked about. He was taking place and asked people that people say.
Come again?
So what did people say? I mean, it was not to say that.
Come again with the question, please. Hello?
Hello?
Come again with the question.
He said that he asked people, asked that the people say so what do people say about you in him a certain area when you ask the question? I'm thinking that it was not the right procedure to go ask people say people want me to run. So what do people say? Waiter and say people can governor their sports. And for you to go and ask them say what you people say, then they will just say, oh yeah, but no with you.
Okay. Thank you very much. He's going to address that. Let's talk to this other person. Hello, your name and where you join us from?
Yes, my name is Robert Kemoga and I'm in Cllr.
Okay, let's hear you.
I want to say thanks to the councillor in there. And secondly, he spoke well. I just lying down, just contemplating, I have my side, but if I never have my side, I could join. Because I listened to even a pro-government station this morning. It was interesting to know Mr. Gongloe in the third place, and why Kumi went to the fifth place today. So, looking at the entire issue now that we're looking at now, the people looking for people who live with them, who understood them, and who have been with them. But to just come buy pig in a bag, someone just come to you, even now, you don't looking at Liberian now, you don't even know woman now, woman just can't say, my brother, I want to stay with you. You are out in the community, who is the girl? They will not know that girl is him. I want the girl. And you run away.
Thank you. Another person here. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm John Tisuka calling from Robert.
Let's hear you.
Yeah, I want to ask the councillor, according to you said, Nimba said they want to be scared in any case. Is it quite for power from Nimba County because we saw that candidate become president?
Come again with a question. Come again with a question.
I said, we hear from the councillor that Nimba County said they want to be the head in any case. Is it a fight for power from Nimba County? Is it that you or Nimba County are fighting for power?
Is it a fight for power? Okay, thank you very much.
Yes.
Hello, your name and where you join us from?
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you. This is Evangelist Otis Call. I do join you from Pittsburgh this evening.
Let's hear you, Evangelist.
Yeah, I have a question for the council. I appreciate the council. I follow his profile. He's a very good man. But I want to understand something because I follow several of his interviews in the way he said that the issue about forming an alliance or forming a collaboration is not the problem, it's not the solution to Liberia's problem. He said that Liberian people should look out and choose the best person that can lead this country. Now, in a clear term, that would mean that Councillor Gongloe, is saying that he prefers to go independent, and he will not want to, subject himself or go advise to any other person. How do you reconcile that statement with statement that running around? People say, "Oh, Kumi, so you don't want to go advise to any other person." And lastly, you also said that Kumi has no experience. He hasn't worked in government yet. Or did you follow the history of Adama Barrow in Gambia, 2016?
Thank
he
you.
came from the background of a business. He did not work in the government sector.
Thank you very much. Let's talk to another person. Hello, your name and where you join us from?
Hello, my name is Philip from Boston. I join you from Virginia.
Okay, let's hear you.
Yes, I did listen to the Honorable Chancellor, but I want to ask him, because he really did not question agriculture. I really want to know if the opportunity is given to the Honorable Chancellor to be the next president of this country, what he actually going to do in terms of promoting agriculture in the country. Because for some of us, we are trained agriculturists and we are actually willing to see how best we can contribute when it comes to agriculture in this country.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Your name and where you join us from?
Yeah, my name is Emmanuel.
Emmanuel, let's hear you.
Yes, thank you very much for the honorable Gongloe. You spoke well. But now looking at the political arena, the Gongloe needs to have best to work hard and forget about this election 2020 because we have a lot of experienced players that will be in the game to see how best to prepare yourself to move yourself for another election, but non-late election. And also my recommendation to him.
Is he not an experienced player as well? Okay, we lost him. Hello, your name and where you join us from? Hello? Hello, are you there? Okay, let's talk to this person. Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Your name and where you join us from?
My name is Kwake
Okay, Kwake, let's hear you.
Okay, let me say a big thank you to Councillor Gongloe in studio. My question is, don't you are giving us a presidential candidate and coming from Nimba, and then you saying you can have an alliance with anyone in the race, and his sister Ide is more popular in Nimba. So if he coming to lose the election, and then for the Joseph Braga and George we are in the race for a second run, let me say for rerun, will you support anyone? That's my question.
Okay, he's going to answer that. Let's talk to this person. Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Your name and where you join us from?
I'm Morgan Bonda calling from District 2, Colorado.
Okay, let's hear you.
I want to correct Councillor Gongloe in studio that he didn't resign in 2005.
You didn't do what?
He was suspended along with all the cabinet ministers of Edinburgh.
2005, that correction.
2003, 2013, in the month of July, and he was not reinstated.
Okay.
So he was the government.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's talk to this other person here. Hello, your name and where you join us from? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Your name and where you join us from?
I'm joining you from District 2 Affairs. And I was trying to correct the honorable man.
Okay, but you already made your point, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Let's talk to this other person. Hello?
Good evening. How you doing?
I'm okay. Your name and where you join us from?
Yeah, thank you so much. My name is Ezekiel C, and I call you from Single.
All right, let's have you, Ezekiel.
Yeah, first of all, I would like to say thank you to Councillor Gongloe. And also, we support his ideology, and the entire youth of Liberia is sending out to support him because we need to be liberated. And we see no one else but the councillor instituted there. So we want to say kudos to you, and we are in support of his ideology. We will do it to the end.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Hello, your name and where you join us from? Hello. Okay. Let's talk to another person here. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Your name and where you join us from?
Yeah, I'm Patrick from Davis, and I call for my comfort zone in Logan Town, specifically.
Let's hear you quickly.
I'd like to say,
you want to walk away from the radio, please? Okay. Let's talk to this other person. Hello. Good evening. Your name and where you join us from?
I've been praying to get on this station to just finally introduce
You already, yeah. Just go straight ahead and make your point.
Councillor Congo, thank you for your deliberation, and thank you to our best commentator, Eugene Facon. We love you, Eugene Facon. We love you so much, and we love it. We've been praying by the COC with you. Small, we are silent listener. Councillor Congo, thank you for the deliberation, but we want to tell you this time around, please reduce the ego and support Ambassador Joseph Human Waka. We are appealing to you. My name is Terry.
Thank you.
Support Ambassador Joseph Human Waka.
Thank you very much. Let's talk to another person here. Hello, your name and where you join us from?
Yeah, good evening to the good evening to our guest, the councillor.
Okay. Good evening. Let's hear you.
This is Thomas. I'm calling from Momotown, Douala.
Okay.
I'd like to say a very big thank you to Councillor Gongloe for his brilliant deliberation. Councillor Gongloe, you know, we are in a very sad country. You have laid the law of public service. If Liberia is a country with serious minded voters, you will be voted. But this is a country where we don't respect people who have demonstrated their lives, who have shown great level of integrity in this country. What a sad day, what a sad place we have found ourselves today. I'm so sorry, Dr. Gongloe. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hello, your name and where you join us from?
Hello.
Your name and where you join us from?
My name is Fatima, and I'm from Pagopi.
Let's hear you quickly.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to say, Councillor Gongloe, you are welcome to see you. Well, I really want to know what Councillor Gongloe, what you are doing for the country, when you want to run as president.
Okay, thank you very much. He will answer you. All right, let's talk to this person. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, good evening.
Your name and where you join us from?
My name is Morris Kamara, calling from ERW Junction.
Morris, let's hear you.
Yeah, okay. I just want to say hi to our big brother, Councillor Gongloe. But my appeal to him with all of the good ideas that he has, I want him to please join Ambassador Joseph Nyuma Boakai with the good ideas so that the country can be rescued from the hands of the slaughterers. Because the country, they have reached a point where we see these guys, they already got a knife to slaughter Liberia, and which it is very worrisome. Councillor Gongloe, I beg you, please join other people like Joseph Nyuma Boakai to rescue this country from the hands of the slaughterers.
Thank you very much. Let's talk to this person. Hello?
The last call, please. Thank you.
Okay. You are the last caller. Let's hear your name and where you join us from.
Thank you very much for the program. From a proposal in Dragon from Agility State.
Okay.
I want to thank Gongloe for his brilliant delivery. I think the character of Gongloe, who has a D.
Your line is breaking up.
When he refused to accept the ministerial post at telecommunications, that's people in that room. So I want to thank you very much. All we say, I look at people will do beyond the winning train. Please.
Thank you very much.
Across the road. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank
you very much, Councillor Gongloe. We want to say thank you very much for being our guest tonight. We appreciate you on our show. You listen to Liberians in Liberia, outside of Liberia. They spoke their heart out to you, and they have asked you question. Uh, Before you do your closing, you can comment on the question. It's up to you, and then you can do your closing. But we want to say thank you for joining us.
Okay, there were supporters of Jose Yima Bwaka who said, oh, join Jose Yima Bwaka, which means dropped from the presidential race. And that is their opinion. I've been elected by the Liberian People's Party as the tenant bearer. That is an issue for the party, but I've gone all over Liberia and I have high level of acceptance among the Liberian people. I have to respect them, but that is their view. I respect them. So let them express their views through votes. Somebody talk about, somebody said, oh, between Joseph Nima Bwaga and who will you support? I'm not deciding. I've already said that if there will be a second round, it will be among the political the opposition political parties. It will not be between and anybody else. So when we reach a bridge, we'll cross it. You asked that question before. This person asked, maybe they were not listening. Then there's the thing about I did not resign. Again, everybody knows the real story. So if this president wants to say he has a different story that I did not resign, that is left with him, because the truth is well known that I was not dismissed. I was called back into public service and I said, no, I'm not coming. I resigned from the government. I'm not coming back to public service. That is called resignation, when you decide not to be in government. Agriculture, somebody asked, what will you do for agriculture? That is one of the things in my 10-point agenda. I believe strongly that cutlasses and hoe cannot feed our country anymore. The factor of production in the 1800s, Liberia used to export rice. But when we started going to school, when companies started coming, rubber company, mining company, then we started urbanizing, the factor of production that was in the interior producing rice disappeared or got reduced because of that. So now we have old people in the interior, very young people. We need to replace that factor of production by machines. So we need to mechanize rice production. So I have a plan for the government to purchase rice farming machines and distribute them among the farmers cooperatives in the 15 counties of Liberia. And they will produce rice and transform Liberia from being a rice importer to a rice exporter. I strongly believe that. The other thing is to strengthen CARI, the research institute. You cannot really improve agriculture without paying attention to CARI. It is that institution that will carry on research in the different rice kinds that we have, the animal, the different things. We need CARI. We cannot succeed in agriculture without strengthening CARI. We need our extension services. Before the war, there used to be extension workers on the motorbikes going from farm to farm and advising the farmers. That doesn't exist anymore. Their names are on the payroll. I understand. I check agriculture ministry. They say, oh, but we got extension department here. But in the field, you don't see extension workers anymore. You need extension workers to help with agriculture. Somebody talk about farming alliance. We talk about that. It's actually late now because by tomorrow, Cummings will have appointed his running mate, Joe Parker. So they are already forming team. It's being left to form my team. So that issue is behind us. Whatever. Somebody say, oh, Adama Barrow, you don't have to have experience to be a president, because Adama Barrow of Gambia is a president, he's doing well. But the normal thing, as Spoon was saying, is everywhere everybody wants experience for whatever you do. Maybe Adama Barrow has a lot of technicians around him. He's listening to them, and because of that, he's doing whatever he's doing in Gambia. That's why he was re-elected. Somebody say, when I'm fighting for power in Nimba, no, for Nimba, no, it's not for Nimba County. But the question was asked directly about different candidates coming from Nimba, one being vice president and the other one being the presidential candidate. I say there's no conflict there because one is going for vice presidency and the other one is going for presidency. And the Nimba people have said, look, we want presidency this time. We have had vice presidency before. And somebody say, what are you going to do for primary and secondary schools? In my 10-point agenda for better Liberia, I have that from kindergarten to 12th grade under my administration, all Liberian children will go to school, all government schools free of charge, no child will be left behind. Going all over the country, I saw a lot of children not going to school or ask school in session, why are you not going to school? And I would say, my mom ain't get money, my pa ain't get money to send me to school. I'm in the 3rd grade, things like that. The other aspect is going to most of the towns. You will not know when you sit in Monrovia. Because the government of Liberia, this government retired, most of the teachers, because they are reached retirement age, and they now replace them. Many of the schools, including primary, secondary schools and all that, have like schools that used to have 12 teachers, for example, have 4. The rest are what they call volunteer teachers. They are paid by the town. The town people collect money and pay that volunteer teacher. It's not a sustainable program. When they put them, give them money, they leave. Or when they find job, they leave. So there are many schools throughout the country that are not really being run properly because you don't have teachers and you don't have school materials. We'll make sure that that doesn't happen. We'll have no volunteer teacher in any school. We'll put government salary teacher in all of the schools in Liberia so that the supervisor of schools can control their behavior and make sure that they conduct themselves consistent with the education law of Liberia. So that's how we do it. Now we'll make sure that textbooks are available. The last time I was here when I went to California, I asked the education authority, I said, can you give us your old books? They say, if you can export, you can transport it to Liberia. One state in the United States can provide all our textbooks, both for, and in that case, the government will provide it for both private schools and government schools so that all our children can have textbooks. How you teach math without textbooks? You know, how do you teach English without textbooks? We need textbooks. We don't have enough textbooks in our schools. So we make sure that we ask America for that assistance. Science is science everywhere. You know, math is math everywhere. English is English everywhere. So that we can have textbooks for our young people to learn better. I think these are the issues that people raise. The other ones were just opinions of people, and we don't have control over how people feel. Somebody say, oh, wait for the next election, join a winning team, all of that. That is their view. And I leave them with their views, and I respect it. I don't have control over how they feel. But I strongly believe this election will be for whoever works harder. You know, some people have a sense of entitlement where I didn't go in election before, so I don't have votes stuck up in the freezer somewhere. Some people feel that their votes in 2017 are still stuck up somewhere, and all they need to do is to open. Me, I have to work. I like my role as the underdog, because that is what is making me work harder. Thank you very much.
I mean, you can throw jabs and you leave it. You throw jabs, you leave it. Then if we want kind of up that, then you say we calling names. Yeah, some people get vote in LBDI bank. No problem. They will hear you. Thank you very much, Councilor Gongloe. We appreciate you. And have a good night.
Thank you.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Hey, I was there that several times. He was choice today.
Yeah, then when you hold him to it, then he said, you're calling names. But you know what, folks? We want to say thank you for joining us. We want to say thank you a lot for joining us. This is the Spoon Talk.
Could already great when I go cash it, man. Man, lady, man, say,
yeah, man,
he say yes or no. Man, say,
no yes or no.
I can answer yes and no question. By the time I ask him about the punishment for the
but you know what,
Fagon? He said yes with capital. Why yes?
Fagon, but I'm surprised though that he said without experience under the Liberian government, some folks they're not qualified to run. Let me bring you in. Let's start from this thing. The experience, the Liberian experience factor, not international though. You think that's